Hello. All right, just give me a quick second. Let me tag this out here. We're going to copy this. Oh, come on. Okay. All right, so we got a couple people here. Let's move this off to the side. I hope you guys can hear me. I did not check to make sure that the audio was working. So let's do that really quick. Okay, we're good. Oh, what's up, Hebu? Hebu.org now, huh? All right. So as you guys can see, this thing is ginormous. It's out of my camera shot, and this is a wide angle camera. So I guess height isn't really a thing. But as you guys may or may not know, Frozen has released their Sonic Mighty 4K. Now, just letting you know that these units will not be shipping out till mid-December. Thankfully, Frozen was kind enough to send us a pre-release unit. So I just wanted to let you guys know that there might be some issues on here that you might not see on your production unit because this is a pre-production unit. So they did advise me that, hey, there's going to be some issues, just to be aware. If you do come across any other type of issues, just let us know. They wouldn't really specify what issues, but they just said that there's a good possibility that there might be because it's a pre-release unit. So yeah, without further ado, let's get this stuff unboxed and get it rocking and rolling. I do have their cure station as well, but I figured I'd do another video on that. So maybe tonight we'll do an unboxing of the cure station since it's not a huge priority. This is more or less the priority out of anything that people want to see. So, all right. First off, we have a fancy bottle of resin. And I will say they go above and beyond packaging these things. So, kudos to that already, right off the bat. Looks like this might be some 4K resin again. Yep. Aqua Gray 4K. So I have a couple bottles of this stuff. All right, so let's get to unboxing. Oh, God, this thing is huge. That's what she said. Are you finding that 4K resin is producing better quality prints? You know what? I'll be completely honest with you. I haven't done too much testing in terms of quality, and that's kind of why my Sonic Mini 4K review is still impending because I need to do some more prints. I've been busy. I've been away, so I haven't really been printing much with the printers in general. So, So hopefully within the next few days, I can print some more with that, because I do have a comparison print for regular resin, but I need to do a comparison print for 4K resin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print the same model on the Sonic Mini 4K, print the same model on my the Creality LDR and the LDH. So one's a monochrome 2K, one's a regular 2K, and then the Sonic Mini 4K. So we're going to do a comparison print just to see if that is actually the case, if the 4K resin does actually do better detail. So we'll have to see about that. But as of right now, yeah, it's going okay. So anyway, all right. So we're unboxing this right now. Hopefully we can get this out pretty easily. This is the part I hate. It came out a lot easier than I thought it would. Okay, let's get this big bad box out of the way. I have way too many printers here, as you can see. All right. Oh, we're out the front, so that's perfect. Yeah, this thing is huge. So let's see how tall this is. So in our as some call it freedom measurements, it's like pretty much 18 inches tall. So it's pretty big. What, 18 inches is just under 2 feet. Not just under, but like 1.5. It is packaged very well. Trying not to destroy anything. There she is in all of its glory. Now, I do see a extra added in feature that I don't remember seeing in the release model. So whether or not this is going to be on the release model or not remains to be seen. I'll have to confirm that with Frozen. But if it is, it's a nice little feature. I'll show you guys here in a second what I'm talking about. Has a Mono X vibe to it. Absolutely, it does. It has a similar style build plate and everything, so I can see where you say that. Seems like all the printers that are going medium size, they're basically trying to get them to be budget printers. So with that, you get lower quality build, but it's not necessarily a terrible thing. It's just the fact that they're trying to get cheaper parts to everybody, and so that way they can have a cheaper, better printing experience. And I will say that Frozen is one of those where they do the cheap route, and as far as I can tell, it's still a good print quality. So I have not had any problems with my Frozen products since the original Frozen Sonic Mini, which I had an issue where it was a power issue, and I didn't have time to take a look at it. So I didn't give it the chance that it deserved, unfortunately. And I will not be making that mistake again. So okay, so Shitu Systems. Yeah. So I actually am working with Shitu Systems on some projects here. And one of the projects, wherever it may be, I have to modify something. So far packaging is very good. As you can see, they've lifted up the hood and raised it onto some foam. So most of the time when you see these packaged, they usually have them set directly on there. It's not always a great thing, but if you package them right, they are pretty good. As long as you have the foam on the inside and then you have it taped down properly, much like the Vauxhall Lab printer we unboxed last night. that has a nice packaging to it as well. But for these bigger ones, that was one of the main concerns that I saw with the Anycubic Mono X, is these things were like, they weren't breaking, but they were like spider cracking, which means it's a stress crack from shipping. So we all know how, you know, shipping companies love to handle packages, you know. All right. Take this big hood off. That thing is shit. All right, so we have a cover over that. Put that in there. It's more to do with the quality of the parts they build with. Yeah, so that's more or less the thing you're going to see nowadays is, you know, the machine's outer body is going to be cheaply made, but as long as the internals and the actual build of the unit is high quality, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't really care about sacrificing the outside to have a better inside for better printing quality. So yeah, it's not just stress, it's machine crease, the like Loctite, it erodes plastics. There's a good upgrade of stick on handles. Yeah, so this is one of the things that I did not notice on the production model, and I know my light is kind of super bright on this, but as you can see, it's got a nice little handle on each side. So I dig that. That's not something you see. You usually see that on much, much bigger printers. So that's a nice addition. I hope that that is a production add-on, because that's a nice little feature in my opinion. Okay, so we got that off. So one of the things that people were asking about is it going to be a metal vat or is it going to be a plastic vat? Now, I believe that Frozen has moved away from the plastic vats. So because of their disaster thing that happened with the Sonic Mini Mini, but this is a harder plastic. It's not like the cheap plastic that they've had on the Sonic Mini. So this is a plastic vat. Now, one big thing that everybody's going to go crazy about, yes, it does have a glass protector. You guys can clearly see the reflection off of this. So right now, just with that alone, this is already the best buy on the market right now, because all the other ones like the Saturn, the Mono X, they have screens, but they don't have glass protectors on them. It's kind of like I said last night when we were unboxing the Voxel Lab, they have like older looking screens on them. So one thing I wish that they did is have a fill line. Now there technically is a crease in here. I guess you can use that as a fill line. Hey Jerry, how's it going? So let's see. Let's take a look here. What do we got in the box? What's in the box? We have our user manual, our little funnel, aka the P-cup, some gloves that look like they've been sitting around for, you know, years and years, a power cord. So, all right. We have a high quality USB. When I say high quality, this is a SanDisk Cruiser. It is an 8 gig. Little sanding disc. This is 80 grit. A power brick. 2 spatulas. So again, as I've said before, this is the issue that I have when people provide spatulas like this. While these work, they work to an extent, and they end up destroying more prints than they do help people with prints. What I'd like to see is a beveled edge on there. This does not have that. My $200 Voxel Lab has a bezeled edge on it. What that does is it helps get underneath the print. This is a straight edge. Now, even though this is super, super thin, it's still kind of hard to get underneath there. So I always suggest upgrading to a little bit better of a scraper, which is why I use a razor blade. I know it's frowned upon on a lot of people, but that's what I use, and that's how it is. So, all right, let's get this all set up and ready to rock and roll. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the rounded plate or anything, the rounded corners or anything, but as long as you get in there on the right angle, you'll be okay. So, all right. So far, it's basically a upgraded version of the Sonic Mini 4K. So, which our Sonic Mini 4K is just chilling right there. We have a printer on top of that. I have so many printers, I'm kind of out of room, but basically that's what it is. It's the big bad boy to the Sonic Mini 4K. We have a dual linear rail access, a single Z rod, and it looks pretty stable. I don't see any spring tensioner in there, but that might be hidden inside the actual mount. The mount is machined aluminum, it looks like. Pretty easy. And like I said, the handles here, I really dig that. I probably won't use them, what they're entirely meant for, but it's nice to grip it like that. So one of the other things is it does have a bevel plate. So as you guys can see, so the resin can drip off each and every way. Not a huge fan of these. I really wish that they would do something more like my Wii box where, you know, it comes off and, you know, I don't ever have to really clean the build plate on my Wii box. What's a problem in scratching plate? I always use razor blade. Yep, mine plate is scratched, but it doesn't have deep scratches. Yeah, exactly. So just a lot of people frown upon it because it is a razor blade and you can scratch your build plate pretty well, which I have done on my Wii box. But it's pretty simple because all I have to do is just sand it down if it gets real out of control. But most of the time I use supports on that printer anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. So I'm not missing out on anything. So let's get this up and rocking and rolling. I'm gonna try and not make this video too long. All right, moment of truth. Okay. First things first, turning off the sound. All right, so we have Frozen 3DP. This is version 4.3.16 LCD P3. Okay. Oh, we didn't put the USB stick in. Let's see what we got for test prints. We're just going to go through the tools. Let's go ahead and do an LCD test. Okay, let's take a look and see how fancy this thing is. As I did yesterday, I put everything back and I shouldn't have. All right, we're going to turn off the light and we're going to do an LCD test. Ooh, man, that's some chunky light coming through there. Good Lord. Okay. So LCD test and then vat cleaning. I think that's full exposure. Yeah, okay. So this is full exposure. You guys can kind of see the bubble LEDs. They're actually nice and even. And it looks like they actually did this very well. So what's nice about this is it actually has a diffuser on those bubbles. So as you have seen before, if you're in the printing community, issues with like specifically the Yellow Goose Saturn, where people, it won't be too bad. There's a reason why it's only on there for X amount of seconds. Long prolonged exposure will definitely make you go blind. But yeah, the 10 seconds that I stared at it, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's just like staring into the sun. I know people say don't do it. Hey, it happens. When you're driving, people are constantly staring into the sun. But yeah, this has got an actual diffuser on the specific bubble LEDs. I forget what the real technical name of those are, but yeah, that's what that is. So let's go ahead and look at, my apologies. Let's go ahead and look into here, store printer in a cool, dry place, power supply and everything. Z-axis calibration. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly what we did yesterday or last night with the voxel lab. We're going to test it out and see if it's already pre-leveled, because most of the time these are pre-leveled. So let's go ahead and see if they are. It would be nice if it was. It would be cool. Then that's just one last step I have to deal with. All right, where's my sheet of paper here? All right, so let's go to calibration. Take off the resin vat, put one piece of paper in between the LCD screen, and we're going to go ahead and level. It is very quiet. Now, there is some vibration, and that's because, like I said, they basically, these are very, very cheap exteriors. Again, it's not a deal breaker for me. Just some are a lot nicer than others. As long as the internals are good, then I'm not too worried about the external look of things. I mean, this can be all open for all I care and have a janky LCD screen. As long as the printer works and it works well, then I have no issue with it. So we're good. That's good. So we don't even have to level that. So that's already pre-leveled, ready to go. So it looks like these are AOTAC linear rails. I'll be honest, I don't know too much about linear rails. I know what is it, high win? I think they're called something win. Those are pretty nice ones, but I mean they're kind of like the industry standard. So I don't really know too much about these ones. My biggest concern about this entire unit so far is the vats, because like I said, with plastic vats, they've had issues in the past where it's leaked. So I think it's Elise or Stella is the different diffuser. Can't remember. Well, no, like the specific name of the bubble LEDs. I forget what they call those. There's a more technical name for them. Obviously, you're not going to say, yeah, the bubble LEDs. And people are going to be like, what? LED array. Like I think that's just what it's called, the LED array. We're going to save this one because this is a brand new bottle. And we're going to grab one of our other bottles since it's already open. Because there's no need to open up a new bottle. We already have one open. We're going to grab our trusty glove. Let's see what test print we got here. So it looks like just our standard frozen our ring. I don't know if this is going to be a larger version or not, or just going to be a small one. But even if it's a small one, that'll be kind of cool because it'll let us see all the detail that this printer can output. Now, I will say that I know the huge thing, the hype nowadays is the 4K screens. But here's the thing that people don't understand is that when I'm printing with a 2K printer, whether it be monochrome or regular RGB screen, my quality at 0.05 will be the exact same quality, if not just slightly better than a 0.05 off of this machine. And the reason for that is because the pixels per square inch, which is what really matters when it comes to the bulk of resolution, gets spread out between the screen. Now, this is a 9.3 inch LCD screen. So this is quite bigger than the Elegoo Saturn and Anycubic Mono X. So with its price range, it is currently the best bang for your buck right now. Now, that's to be said because, you know, it doesn't produce the quality that a 4K printer should, or even a 2K printer. So what I mean by that is, like, when you print with this, you're going to get a quality of 2K no matter what you really do. Even if it's at 0.03, you're going to get the same type of quality on a 2K printer at 0.03 as well. So don't expect you to get like super high detail, even with the profile that's probably tuned on here, because I know with the Sonic Mini 4K, they insanely tuned that profile down to the like milliseconds. It was insane when I took a look at their profile, because they had it at like 1.67777787259 for the exposure setting. So, I mean, they went crazy with it. All right. We're basically going to fill it to that line. My guess is that's going to be 250 milliliters. And the reason for that is just, you know, judging off the bottle, there was about 750 milliliters of resin left in this bottle. So, yeah, that would be my guess. But let's go ahead and put this thing on. I hope this is not specifically needed to be put on one way. So one of the gripes that I had with the Sonic Mini 4K is that this hood had to go on one specific way. So let's see if this can go on any way. Cool. So they definitely fixed that, where you can put it on any way you want. All right, so let's go ahead and start printing. So with the hood on, it is very, very quiet. So the only thing that you really hear, which you guys may or may not be able to, is the fan at the back. And there is quite a lot of cooling inside this this printer. Let me see if I can look inside here and see what type of board we got in here. Power. I can't really see it. It's kind of out of the way. I was trying to see what board it has, if it does actually have a Shitu board or if it has something else, because I'll be honest, I don't think these use Shitu boards like somebody had suggested. Again, I could be wrong. I've never actually looked inside one of these things to actually check it out. But yeah. Already, we're doing good. We have 710 layers on this. And so yeah, let's just take a look at some specs here while we print this. And again, we do have the Cure Station, the Luna, as well, that I have to unbox and do a review video on. So we will be doing that as well. So current price on the Frozen website is going to be $525.52. Obviously, that's not including shipping, but that is a damn good price for what you're getting. And let's see, you can buy an extra VAT for this. That's $77. So yeah, that's kind of nice. All right, so let's see what we got here. So we have a 2.8-inch touchscreen LCD panel. I wish that was a 3.5. It is a little bit small for this, but again, it's not the end of the world. You're going to be using that very, very little. It's not something that needs to be like, I need to press this, I need to do that, I need to do this. It's not the end of the world. But again, this is meant to be a budget medium-sized printer, so it kind of ticks all the boxes right now. So printing volume size is going to be 20 centimeters by 12.5 centimeters by 22 centimeters. Can't really math in my head on what the Freedom setup is going to be, but it's roughly, if I'm going to convert that to like millimeters, it would be somewhere around like 220 for the height, and similar size to the Elegoo Mars in terms of like 196 by 120-ish, somewhere around there. Again, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I'm not 100% sure. I can do a Google search, but yeah, we'll get some actual numbers out there. So it does offer high resolution printing at 52 UM. So it does lose a little bit of resolution because it is a 9.3-inch screen. So with that being the 9.3-inch, normally an 8.9-inch is going to print at 50 UM. So that's pretty much like right around a 2K screen. So that's, like I said, even though it is a 4K screen, don't expect 4K results. As of right now, there's only one printer that prints at 4K, true 4K, and that is the Sonic Mini 4K. Now, whether or not that's going to be a huge, impactful thing on the community, that remains to be seen. Like I said, I got to do some more printing with the Aqua 4K resin to actually determine if that's really a thing or if it's just, a minuscule thing. Like if it's really going to be a game changer. So I have to see that and make sure that, we print on all angles to make sure that we are producing the quality that we're supposed to be doing. So it looks like this is going to take 3 hours and 23 minutes. Obviously, we're not going to sit here for 3 hours. I'm probably going to be on here for another 15 minutes and just kind of, let it be. This is a 9.3-inch monochrome screen, and it is 4K. So, again, it kind of ticks all the boxes and everything like that. So, and we are printing with the 4K resin, so it should be a little bit higher detail. Again, that remains to be seen. I haven't done too much printing with the 4K resin, to be in all honesty. So I can't really say that, hey, the 4K really does have detail. But with that being said, there are a lot of resins out there that are castable style resins or jewelry resins that produce higher quality over regular printing. So it's amazing what difference pixel density makes to resin printers. Yes, it absolutely does. I mean, it's just the smallest thing will be the hugest impact on this. So, and that's why I love when people are like, oh my God, I got a 4K printer. It's great. Yeah, well, you got a 4K mono 8.9-inch printer. But really, all it is just a large 2K printer when it comes down to it. When you're talking about technicalities and everything like that, that's all it really is. And people just are like, what are you talking about? They don't understand that, when you go bigger, you stretch pixels. That's why when you see, 70-inch TVs, that's great. But like the quality of that is, a little bit less than a 4K, even if it's a 4K. So at that point, you want to go like 6 or 8K. So, that type of thing. Usually low viscosity resins. Yeah. Print size is 7.9 inch, 4.7 inch, and 8.66 inch. Thanks for the Freedom setup there. I shouldn't have really said Freedom because 9 times out of 10 we're going to be using millimeters, not centimeters. I think Frozen is about the only one that uses centimeters out of anything. Everybody else just kind of uses either inches or millimeters. So from what I've seen so far. But yeah, there's not too much to talk about this. It can print 80 millimeters per hour. That's quite fast. So it does utilize Shitu box. So there is a good possibility that it does use a Shitu board because they usually go hand in hand. It does have a para LED matrix LED. That's what it's called. So I couldn't really think about that. So with the 9.3 inch screen, it can't really do 0.5 from what it says here. Unless I'm reading this wrong. No, I am. So it can go down to 0.01 layer thickness, which is insane. I don't know any other monochrome screen that can go down that low. Unless I'm reading that wrong. Because it's 0.03. No. So that's right. So it can go all the way up to 0.030. That's pretty intense. That's pretty crazy. So, but that's pretty much it, guys. I'm not going to stick around here for too much longer. I got some things to do, but we're going to print with this thing for about a week. And then we're going to give our actual review on it. I'll try and find some real crazy prints that we can test out and see what's going on and go from there. The new orange kickstarted will do better. Are you talking about the orange printer, the longer orange? If that's the case, I highly doubt that. Even though longer has been around for a while in terms of the resin printers, it's been low quality. Like Frozen is pretty low when it comes to this stuff. And what I mean by like low quality is they actually provide a good product with low quality parts. So 4K orange with a smaller screen than the Frozen Mini 4K. Yeah, so that'll actually be truly true 4K. But with that being said, by the time that releases, I guarantee you will see more printers with upgraded ability to have 4K. This means the original Mars, the original Photon, basically all the printers that have a 5.5 inch screen. I'm already seeing the 4K screens dropping on AliExpress and the Chinese market. So it's only going to be a short matter of time before the longer orange is just kind of dead in the water. But really, that's kind of nice to see in terms of print quality, because that's going to be super high detail that it comes out. So, but yeah, longer has been proven to have very, very low quality products. I had a longer orange 30. You guys can see my unboxing video. It was a travesty. It took me about 30 minutes just to put together their little enclosure, their top. And it was just, I wanted to be done with the printer right then and there. It was not worth my time. My review video is actually, my unboxing video is actually on their website too. So you guys can see that there under the longer orange 30. And after a while, the resin vat started dripping. It didn't have a leak necessarily in the FET film. It actually leaked from the seals of the vat because, well, there was no real seals. There was really, really cheap that design that was just kind of like raw machined and welded together looked kind of cool, but it wasn't a practical thing. Now, with that being said, looking at the new 4K longer orange, the quality has been upped quite a lot. So I am excited to see that. But just with anything else that's on Kickstarter, I will never ever back a Kickstarter on resin, on 3D printing in general. There's always some sort of problem with it. You either get a product that's similar to it or something that's completely opposite or whatever it may be. So I always have an issue with that. And there's always some sort of issue with backing a 3D printing setup on Kickstarter, even Creality, even people with big names. And that stems all the way from the beginning of when it all started with M3D and their crane quad. That was a travesty, to say the least. So, and it just kind of trickled down from there, from, resin printer to resin printer. I will wait until it's off a Kickstarter, or I can get my hands on a preview unit. If they want to send me one, that's great. But if not, I'm just going to sit here and wait until it releases and kind of be with all of you and, give you my thoughts on the longer orange 4K. But as of right now, the Sonic Mini 4K is the big bad boy on the block in terms of high detail, supposedly. Again, we will hopefully have that review done by the end of this weekend, and that way I can provide you guys with the most information on, does it really matter to have that type of 4K, or is it just kind of like a marketing gimmick type thing? Because in my mind, it's kind of a big marketing ploy. But I'm not gonna say too much, but we'll see how if I'm proved wrong or not. So I think next wave will be concentrated not on pixel size, because to be true, it's already quite small. I think next wave at last implement some new features like supports overcuring. That's kind of interesting on variable speeds. Have a friend who have a huge bonus with his old D7 and a Raspberry Pi 3 brains. He installed Nano DLP, have variable speed cycle. So for any of you guys that are watching and don't know what's going on with resin printers, there's two big things in resin printing. There's Shitu Box with their Shitu boards, and there's Nano DLP, which is usually right around a Raspberry Pi. And with that being said, Nano DLP is hands down the winner. The downfall of it is that it's more technical than Shitu Box. Shitu Box is like, okay, here you go. We're going to set this up and you're ready to print. Shitu Box has a web browser that you can slice from, has an onboard slicer, can do literally everything you want to the printer. So if you want to set that up, Nano DLP is probably the winner, in my opinion. I have a printer just out of the shot here called the Hiea SQ1. That thing is probably about I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the size of my Sonic Mini in terms of build volume, and it is probably my most powerful printer here. Hey, you forgot about the Mango OS. I'll be honest, I've never even heard of that. It sounds familiar, but I'm thinking lychee slicer. That's why that's coming across my mind. But I've never actually seen or heard anything about it, so I'll have to look into that. I don't know anything in terms of the Mango OS. But yeah, Nano DLP really lets you do anything you want with the printer. It can yield some insane results. So yes, Lychee's site is Mango something. Okay. All right. So I think I know about that then. I just got into Lychee Slicer. I'll be honest, I'm kind of so-so with it right now. There's a couple things that I don't like about it. But I'll continue to use it. One of my biggest gripes is that it's a paid service. But with that being said, is with the paid service, you do get a nice quality slicer. So, but is it better than, you know, Prusa slicer or Shitu box? Because usually what I use is a combination between Shitu and Prusa. I'm waiting for Prusa to release the ability to output any file name you want. It's been something that they've been talking about for a long time. And, you know, as much as I don't want to be a Prusa fanboy, their slicer is probably the best one that I've used for literally anything. I have a WeBox printer that specifically uses that. It's a modified version of the Prusa slicer for their specific machines, and it is untouchable in terms of support, how you can utilize the prints, rotate it, whatever it may be. It's very, very simple, way simpler than Shitu Box. And Shitu Box is very simple to use. So Lychee's got a hard deal to sell, at least in terms of what I want. Stupid reflections on a video. Looks like you forgot spatula inside the printer. Oh yeah. There, we'll move that out of the way so we don't trigger people. There, how about that? There, that's better. Yeah, my lighting effect is kind of that. But yeah, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and pause this really quick. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, so it looks like we're just at the base here. Kind of hard to see. Floating spatial. Yeah, so we're far from being done there. We basically did the base. That's it. Yeah, we're at 48 layers out of 700. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you got any question, comments, concerns, go ahead and put them below. Like I said, we'll be doing an actual review on this in about a week's time, just to get you guys going, and we'll get that out right before these start shipping out to customers. But as of right now, initial thoughts on it. It's a really nice machine. I really like the handles that they put on there. It's not really necessary on a printer this size. You know, that's more or less for bigger printers, but it's kind of cool to have that there. One of the things I wish that they kind of implemented is the ability to tip the plate on the printer, but you know, that's, I guess they kind of leave that up to people who design stuff. So it is what it is. The only gripe I have about this entire printer is that plastic vat. I'm not a big fan of plastic vats, and that's because, you know, it shows that they've had problems throughout the you know, last year or so that they've been out. But with this one, maybe it's a little bit better designed, and we don't have that problem. So does Z axis rod have bearings? As far as I can tell, they do have two large bearings on. As far as I can tell. They have the linear guides. I can't really see inside to see if they truly have bearings. I'm just going to say yes right now. It's kind of hard to see on top. Oh, on top. Wait. The Z-Rod have bearings. Oh, you're talking about the lead screw. Does that have a bearing on it? It does not. It looks like it, but it's just kind of like a placement. So if it is a plastic one. So again, you got to think that Frozen made this as a budget printer. And that's exactly what this is. At $525, from what I'm looking at, and hardware wise, if it prints and it can print a full print, it's going to be a game changer. Because, like I said, it's a bigger screen, it's a little bit bigger build volume, maybe not in height, but you know, it is bigger than the Saturn and the Mono X. So it is the new bad boy on the block. So we'll have to put it through its reins and see how it performs. But as of right now, it's a pretty good printer. I don't really have any issues with it right now. So we'll have to see if we got any problems down the line. But initially, it's a really nice printer. So until next time, guys, happy printing.